Hey, I'm Dwayne, founder of
You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Bork. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Friday, 9th day of October, 2020. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. If you can't see the screen I have up, go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered in about 30 seconds, and that will give you one-click access to the show each and every day. On the days you're out of the office, away from the desktop, not to worry, point any internet-connected browser to cfrn.net/live. There you'll find a live, real-time simulcast of the show. As it unfolds, you just won't have access to the chat box. Let's open with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we are meeting today to conduct our matters of business. We pray that you would guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that all of our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being our source of guidance today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. Happy Friday. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. The cash markets, indices as they're called. Starting here in the U.S., the Dow's up 225 points, NASDAQ up 133, S&P 500 up 32, the Russell 2000 up 8. In the commodity basket, crude oil up 15 cents, trading 41.34 last. Gold up $30.80, trading 19.25.90 last. That's a gain of 1.5%. Silver up 94 cents, almost $1. Remember, a $1 move in silver is worth $5,000 per contract traded. Silver trading 24.82 last. And in the Asian markets at the close, Nikkei down 27 points, Shanghai up 54, Hang Seng down 74. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE up 38, DAX up 9, the CAC up 39. It gives us a mixed day in Asia, a green day in the UK, and it's a big green Radio Friday here in the US of A. With that, we'll go to Michael and get a recap of everything that happened in the live training room this morning. When he's done, I'll be back and we'll go over the Logic 247 alerts and the Concierge Trade Alerts from last night.
Okay.
I've got your charts
Excellent.
locked and loaded, and it's all yours.
All right. I got it from here. Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is the 9th day of October, 2020. Now, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today, we had a pretty good day. It wasn't as good as the days have been. We didn't meet our daily average on the month so far, but we got pretty close. We ran out of time. That was the problem. But today, as I said, is the 9th day of October, 2020. We got pretty close. We made 2 ticks in the euro, 1 tick in crude, 26 ticks in gold, and 23 ticks on the ES. That put us up 570 on the morning. Oops, 570 on the morning session. Hang on, I'm gonna slide that over. Here we go. I didn't do any YBR trades this morning, but the YBR trades were working, as you'll see in a few minutes. Today I took 27 minutes and 2 trades to get to 102.50, and we took a total of 15 trades this morning. Hang on, let me see what's going on with that. Okay. We took a total of 15 trades this morning. So on the month now, we're at $4,657. That's over 7 trading days, averaging $665 per contract per 2-hour trading day. And it has now been 163 consecutive days that I've got my goal. And I'm knocking on wood. That could change tomorrow. Hopefully, well, not tomorrow, but Monday. Hopefully it won't, though. On the year now, we're at $80,114. That's over 188 trading days, averaging $426 per contract, per trading day. Now, you guys have heard me say that these are unprecedented times, and things actually were really slow today, like almost normal. The volume on crude and the volume on the euro are just about back to normal right now. And the ES picked up from yesterday, but the ES and gold are still low. They're still at about 30% their norm. But once the volume starts coming back into the markets, guys, these unprecedented times are likely to slow down. So if you're not part of the CFRN family and you want to be part of the CFRN family, go to eminifuturestrading.com. Okay, and just follow the instructions there. eminifuturestrading.com. Okay, if you do that, then we'll get you all the information that you need to get started, to get your charts up, to get everything going as soon as we can. And okay, let me scroll all the way back here on gold. All right, here we go. On gold, our first trade here, we picked up 9 ticks. Our next trade, we picked up 10 to put us at plus 19. We missed a trade there, got a little choppy. We had a break-even trade. I think we had another break-even trade. Then we picked up a couple of ticks here, put us at plus 21. A couple more to put us at plus 23. And then a few more to put us at plus 26. And we had a break-even trade there, 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 and there. And that was pretty much gold for the morning session. During the break, there was a shorting opportunity right here and a long opportunity right in here. And that was gold today. So it wasn't as active as it was yesterday. I mean, I still managed to get 26 ticks, but it wasn't as crazy as it was yesterday. And the euro, once again, was kind of a snooze. We just had one trade here on the euro. We picked up 2 ticks. It spun around and gave a long trade right in here. This was a YBR and a bounce off the BBC at the same time, but I missed it. And that was at 10.19. This was a YBR. It wasn't a bounce off the BBC, but it was a YBR trade right there that you could have grabbed. And this was a YBR short, right? But the regular trades that we do in the room in the morning, we just didn't have too many of them. We have another YBR short going on right here from 83.40. But the euro didn't give up very much today. There wasn't a ton of opportunity. Same thing with crude. On crude, we picked up 1 tick right there, and we had a break even right there. Now during the break, it had this big run up, but it didn't give a trade setup. Okay, but during the morning session, crude was just, it was silent. You can hear crickets this morning. On the ES, hang on, it's gathering some data for us. Okay, on the ES, our first trade right here on the ES, we picked up 2 ticks. Then the second trade, we picked up 9 ticks. I missed that one because I was filling out my log. And then on this one, we picked up 12 to put us at plus 23. And we had a break even right there. Now, during the break, there was some movement on the ES, but let me blow it up a little so you can see better. There's some movement on the ES. It was a short right here off the BBC. It was also a YBR short. And again, if you get a YBR short and a bounce off the BBC and the cycle's the right color, that's a really high probability trade. And again, you only need one of those a day. Okay. There's some YBR longs over here. Well, here was one YBR long. This was all chop. And that was it. It was really a kind of slow day compared to how it has been. And that's good because I was really feeling kind of slow this morning. But all that said, we still made $570 a contract this morning. Now, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you can read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 9th day of October, 2020. Today we made 2 ticks on the euro, 1 tick in crude, 26 ticks in gold, and 23 ticks on the ES. Put us at plus 570 on the morning session. And today it took 27 minutes and 2 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up 102.50, and we took a total of 15 trades this morning. So on the month now, we're at $4,657. That's over 7 trading days, averaging $665 per contract per trading day. We are now on our 163rd consecutive day of getting the goal. On the year now, we've just surpassed $80,000. We're at $80,114. That's over 188 trading days, averaging $426 per contract per 2-hour trading day. Okay, now, once again, if you are not part of the CFRN family and you want to become part of the CFRN family, we've made it extremely simple and affordable for you. All you have to do is go to the homepage. I'm sorry, not go to the homepage. Go to the homepage at eminifuturestrading.com. Go to eminifuturestrading.com and just follow the instructions there. Okay, it's really pretty simple, and we can get right in. We can get you set up over the weekend. All right. All right. And that's it. With that, we can pass it back out. Fabulous Phoenix, Arizona. Studio A, overlooking South Mountain. America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready. Okay.
And it looks like we're streaming on YouTube today again. So
Okay.
whatever crazy combination of things I've been clicking to make it happen, it seems to be happening. So EA team.
EA team. You go, Dwayne.
Recap with a recap.
Today it took 27 minutes and 2 trades to get to 102.50.
Good job.
Get it
Good
done.
job. Okie doke. Now, Valerie, I'm not sure if you've sent over the most recent recap as of yet for this morning.
No.
So,
You saw she had something come up this morning.
Oh, I did.
So I think,
Okay.
yeah, she did. She's just getting home right now, so I'm sure she's going to get caught up.
Okay.
If she hasn't sent.
All right. Very good. Well, here's what we'll do. We'll approach it a little bit different. As you know, we have 2 different alert services that we provide. It's all under one banner, as it says on the screen. Everything a trader needs, one low price. The Concierge Trade Alerts is a static report that comes out at the beginning of each Globex session, and those numbers are good for the entire session. And we often see multiple triggers off of that same price throughout the session. The Logic 247 alerts are a bit different in that they come out individually, one at a time, as opportunity presents itself in the private Telegram channel. And those look a little something like this. Now, where I typically start at the top and work my way down, since I don't have the full recap in front of me right now, we'll just start at the bottom, work our way up. The last alert that went out last night, Logic 247, was to be long gold at 1911, and then the initial target was 1912, second target 1914, next target 1916, and then the weekly trading zone overhead, which, as I'll show you on the chart here in a moment, while we're talking about it, might as well show it to you. Okay, here's 1918/19. Now, the entry on that particular alert was to be long 1911 up to 1918. And so here is the entry at 1911. Okay. And we made it almost to the final trade to target, the weekly trading zone overhead. On the first move up, we made it to 1917.50. And we made it all the way to the zone. That would be 7 points at $100 a point, which would be $700 per contract traded. Important prices, important areas, almost always tested. So price comes and gets back below the trigger. In fact, the swing low was 910.40, so we got 6 ticks back below the trigger. We take off again. We hit that trade to target a second time. Okay, 1911 to 9, so that's a $700 trade, followed by a $700 trade from the entry to the target, or the entry to the target, and then we consolidated at the zone here. And after the consolidation, price tried to make it to the next zone overhead at 1937/38. We put in a swing high at 35. So we actually went from 1911 to 1935. So 1935 minus 1911. That's $2,400 per contract traded. $2,400 per contract traded. Now price pulled back into the zone here. So if on this second trigger you were waiting for an exit signal, you got it right here at the zone. So we went to the zone, got back below the trigger, went to the zone, rallied, pulled back to the zone, and then the market made a beeline for the zone overhead at 37.38, and price is still trying to work its way back up above the step line. That's an obstacle now. You need to get above blue and climbing, and then the next target overhead will be 37.38. On any trade, logic or concierge, the trade to target is always the weekly zone overhead on a long, and on a short, it's the weekly zone below. So that's the story of gold. We actually put that one out last night. I think it was during the Partners Workshop. That was gold. We had a one prior to that on gold from 1900 to 1901 to 1903 to 1907. And that one, as we can see, don't have it marked on here, but 1901 to 1903 to 1907, and then we picked up that next trade in 1911, and off we go. Okay, so that was 2 gold trades back to back. Those are the last 2 alerts issued last night. Prior to that, we had a long on the Russell to be long 1633, and that ran up $335 per contract traded. We had a long on the S&P to be long 34.44, initial target 34.46, second target or potential resistance 34.65, and then the final weekly trading zone is up at 35.40. But as it stands, this trade was worth $600 per contract traded. Now, this is all included with the passport. I know. It does leave you scratching your head. You mean for $97 a week, until I decide to upgrade to the lifetime passport, for $97 a week, you're going to give me this, and this, and this, and this, and a hedge on the Dow worth $715 per contract? Yeah, that's exactly how it works. Unprecedented times, as Michael says. Here is a no trigger on silver. Here's a long on crude. Get long at 41.40. Initial target 41.50. Second target or potential resistance 41.70. and then potential resistance at 42 bucks. This one was worth $70 per contract traded. This was a stop out on the Dow. Now, we don't want to risk more than $300 per contract per trade on any alert. Okay? We use a 3-step methodology that I teach all of our traders. If the setup requires that you risk more than $300 per contract per trade, we have 3 steps we go through. If we can't find a suitable stop loss, then we wait for the trade or the alert to trigger a second time, or we simply wait for the next alert. So, into the previous day, here's a long on the S&P. That was good for $400 per contract traded. There's a long on the Russell from 1620 up to 22 to 27 to 43. It's $230 per contract traded. Here's a long on the NQ, $545 per contract traded. Long on the Dow, $405 per contract traded. Oh, and by the way, yeah, we do send these to you before they trigger. This isn't a woulda, coulda, shoulda. We don't go back and look at historical charts and just mark them up and say, well, if you had have been in here and if you had have got out here, you might have done real good. Everything that we do, what Michael does in the live training room, he's putting on, taking off trades live in real time, right in front of you, teaching you the methodology, teaching you the strategy, which will eventually allow you to go out and find these alerts, these opportunities on your own, while you're mastering the skill set necessary to find these opportunities. I'm giving you the opportunities. So we're working as a team. I'm giving you the alerts. He's teaching you how to find the alerts. Stop out on the S&P. That's a long on silver. That's a long on the NQ. That's a long on crude. That's a short on gold. It's a long on the Russell. There's a stop out on the S&P. We had a no trigger on gold. Here was a hedge on the NQ. That one was good for $560 per contract traded. Here's a long on the Russell. Here's a hedge long on the ES. Here's the Dow. Here's crude oil. Here's crude oil. Then we had a string of no triggers. It looked like the markets were about to fall off a cliff, and then they didn't. So that's why there's so many no triggers in a row. And then we have the S&P. There's gold, the Russell, S&P, crude oil, the Dow, silver, long on the S&P, long on the Russell. That one was good for $505 per contract traded. No trigger on the NQ. This was a long on the Dow. This was a long on crude. No trigger on silver. Long on the NQ. And this was the beginning. This is where last Sunday night began. But we had a few carryovers from the previous week. An S&P that got stopped out. A gold that ran to the target. A Russell long that ran to the target. A no trigger on crude. And here's a Dow long that made it to the initial target and then some. Now this is the week we've just completed, week 114. Last week, week 113, we had a total of 54 alerts issued, 5 carried over, which we just walked through, 6 never triggered. We had 43 actionable alerts. 2 of those were stopped out. So that's 5% of actionable alerts were stopped out last week. Now that's not a typical number. The typical number is 20% of all alerts do get stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade. So that's how logic works. Every time your phone makes that little telegram sound, dee-dee-dee, or your tablet or your PC or whatever the case may be, when you hear that sound, it's time to go look at your chart. You always look at your chart before you place the trade. When you first start with us, you start trading in the simulator, in the demo account. No matter whose methodology or strategy or indicators you're using, if you want to be smart, you're going to always trade them in sim until you actually understand the actual strategy, until you know how to read the indicators, until you understand what they're telling you. Just because you have a strategy and just because you have some indicators, there's no magic there. The magic, if there's any magic, is in you learning how to use them properly so that you can go out and find these opportunities for yourself. Now, I said we had two types of alerts. The other type are the Concierge Trade Alerts. And the Concierge Trade Alerts look a little bit different. They come out as a static report, okay? Last night I got them out at 6:25 p.m. Eastern. On each of the markets on the Concierge, you've got two important numbers, the long side, the short side. On each of those, you should go to your chart, draw a line in the sand. Everything that happens in between these two numbers is really the market making up its mind what it wants to do, bigger picture. And then as price rises, in this case to 34.55, you want to be long at 34.55 and looking for long trades above that price. Same is true on the short side at 34.27. As we know, last night the markets rose. But with each of these, the S&P, the Dow, the Russell, Crude, NQ, gold, silver, get those lines in the sand so you know what you're looking for as the markets start to move. Now, last night's Concierge Trade Alert on gold was to be long at 1901, which is right here. Okay, and from 1901, the final trade to target on this would be the weekly zone overhead at 1918/1919. Okay, it's a 17-point move. Gold pays $100 a point at $1,700 per contract traded. And as we discussed, price has continued to rally on gold all the way up to 1935. So from the Concierge Trade Alert entry up to the swing high, we're talking about a $3,400 per contract move. Now, as I said, when you start out in your sim account, in the demo account, as you're learning the methodology and learning the strategy. Once you put together 10 consecutive days in a row where you reach your goal in 10 trades or less, that is when you'll go live. The blueprint will give you the green light to go live with one contract after you put together 10 consecutive days in a row in sim. When you go live with one contract, your goal now is to increase your live account balance by $2,000. Once you do that, you'll get a green light to add a second contract. Now that's an important day because the first contract that you go live with, that of course comes from your savings or wherever you get your money. But when you add the second contract, you're adding that with profit you earned in the market. Third contract, the fourth contract, the fifth, the sixth, the 10th, however large you decide to grow your account. Each time you add another contract, and we only add one at a time, you're always going to add that next contract with profit you earned in the market. Okay? If the blueprint ever tells you to add another contract and you don't have profit available to underwrite adding that new contract, that additional contract, you don't add a contract. Instead, you book a mentoring session with myself, with Michael, with both of us, so that we can go over your trades with you and help you understand why you don't have profit available in your account for the purpose of adding the additional contract. So that was gold. Let's go to the S&P. S&P. Okay. Oh, I should point out on the daily chart, this is important. This little swing high right here at 34.73 and a quarter. That was our last big picture daily resistance before we make a run at the all-time historic high. Well, the swing high right now is 34.74. And that swing high again was 34.73 and a quarter. So we're just a few ticks above that last level of resistance before the market attempts to make a beeline up to the all-time historic high at 35.76 and a quarter. So from this area here, you want to be cautious on the long side until we have cleared the area, held it on a pullback, and then start to move higher. Then we'll put out an alert, possibly this afternoon in the logic channel, to take advantage of this big window of opportunity we have up here. Okay, last night's Concierge Trade Alert for the S&P was to be long 34.55, and that happened let's see, they came out at 1800 hours, so that happened 34.55. There we go. So from 34.55 to the swing high at 60, that's a 5-point move at $50 a point. It's $250 per contract traded. And then from 55, this little pop up here, we're coming off of red and falling. Swing high is 56 and a quarter. We pull right back into the BBC. We get another long opportunity that takes us up to 34.6150. So it's basically a 6-point move. We get back below the trigger. Off we go again, and from 34.55 up to 34.72. 72 minus 55, that's 17 points at $50 a point. That's $850 per contract traded. Okay, that's what I mean about important prices, important areas, almost always being tested. So there's the S&P. Let's look at the Dow. Okay, the alert for the Dow last night was to be long. If you didn't get a screenshot before, if you want to grab a screenshot, you can. Okay, so everything on the Concierge side. Consider being long 28,540. And that's right there. The swing high was 28,565. So that's 25 points at $5 a point. 20 points at $5 a point, that's $100 per contract traded. Then as you can see, we got back below the trigger, and it looks like it wants to trigger again. Let's go to the Russell. Okay, on the Russell last night, the alert was to be long 1644. And $16.44. The swing high of this candle is 1644.6. If you triggered it in that one, that was a stop out. Price pulled back to the BBC. Now it's getting ready to make another run at the trigger. The short side for the Russell is down at 1621. So you might want to jot that down, because there's certainly a possibility that we could see that during today's trading. After the Russell, we'll go to the NQ. Okay. Last night's alert for the NQ was to be long 11,617. By 11,617. And from 11,617, we made it up to 698. So 98 minus 17. It's 81 points at $20 a point. It's $1,620 per contract traded. $1,600 per contract move, and we don't have an exit signal yet. Well, when we get the exit signal, what it will look like is step line. See how it steps up and over, up and over, up and over. It'll step up, it'll step over, and then it'll, instead of stepping up again, it'll step over. Price will start to move sideways. The first red candle that closes below the step line, that will be the signal to exit the trade, because the market appears to be running out of steam. And the exit signal is also one of the things that we teach you in the very beginning, and that allows you to stay with the trade longer than you might normally without that information. All right. On crude, the alert was to be long 4150, which the swing high was 4147. Or to be short 40.55, so neither one of those triggered. And then we've already covered gold, and then here's silver. The alert last night on silver was to be long 24.11. Which was way down here. This will blow your mind. $24.11. Okay. Now, the first weekly zone overhead is 24.31, so that would be a 20-cent move. When the price of silver moves $1, in other words, when it goes from 24.11 to 25.11, we just hit 25.12. That's a $5,000 per contract move. And that covers it. And that's going to do it for today. Short Friday. Send you right off into the weekend. Let's go ahead and I will update the recap in the Telegram channel. Once Valerie's back and gets that all squared away, we'll take care of that for you then. Okay, good word for the day. Yesterday, We talked about being slow to anger. Today we'll talk about using your talents. We've all got some. 1 Timothy 4:14 says, "Do not neglect the gift you have." Luigi Teresio was born in Italy in 1796. Collector of violins, he took great pride in scouting out rare finds and purchasing only instruments of the finest quality. No one really knew about Teresio's passion, however, until after he died. It was while his estate was being appraised that some 246 valuable violins were discovered in his attic. One of the most expensive, hidden in the drawer of an old dresser, was a Stradivarius he'd purchased from someone who had also bought it solely as a collector's item. Commenting on the matter, Dr. W.Y. Fullerton, the gifted Baptist preacher, noted that in preserving the instrument, Teresio had robbed the world of all that music, and others before him had done the same. In fact, by the time the greatest Stradivarius in his collection was finally played, 147 years had elapsed. Henry Van Dyke said, "Use what talents you possess. The woods would be very silent if no birds sang, except those that sang the best. If you wait until you can perform perfectly, you'll never do it at all." Jesus said in Matthew 5:13, "You are the world's seasoning. To make it tolerable, if you lose your flavor, what will happen to the world? And you yourselves will be thrown out and trampled underfoot as worthless. You are the world's light, a city on a hill, glowing in the night. Don't hide your light. Let it shine for all. Let your good deeds glow for all to see, so that they will praise your heavenly Father." Matthew 5:13 through 16. So understand this. God will hold you accountable for discovering your talents, developing them to the fullest, and using them to glorify Him and to bless others. And that's our good word for the day. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.